Okay. So, Batman Forever. This was the first Batman movie to be directed by Joel Schumacher. It was released in 1995, and
And it's absolutely garbage.
due to the backlash from Batman Returns, they decided to go for a more marketable, more like mainstream, I guess,
Yeah.
Batman, and it shows. The style of it is very different from the previous one. Very different. It's more colorful and more flashy, with like tons of neon and stuff.
Yeah, Gotham is still a nightmare, but it's a new kind of nightmare. The
Yeah.
whole time, it feels like a rave party is going on.
Oh man, that's the best description you could. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think the part that demonstrates this the best is
That alley
when
fight.
yes, when he steals the Batmobile and he goes and all of the punks are wearing like neon like spray paint and
Yeah.
clothes.
Yeah.
It's just insane.
I will admit though, some of the fight choreography's good.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I enjoyed.
I do not like this movie, but there are a few things I enjoy. I like Val Kilmer in
Yeah,
this.
he was very good. He
He,
was a lot less awkward as Bruce Wayne,
yeah.
which was nice.
Although when we get to the trivia, you'll find out like he's not a nice guy to work with, apparently.
Yeah.
But he is really good as Bruce Wayne. Although I think I don't know, as Batman, like I think the suit looks kind of weird in this one.
Yeah. Oh, and we can't forget the little McDonald's commercial that went along with this movie.
Oh yeah, the
Might I persuade
opening.
you to take a sandwich, sir? I'll get drive-through.
I actually laughed my ass off of that.
Ugh.
That's such a stupid line, but I was like going, okay, if this is the rest of the movie, maybe. But my biggest problem with it, well, okay, before I get to my problems with it, I I guess it's reaching, but I do like Alfred in this.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's one of the better parts of this and Batman and Robin, I
he's good.
feel.
I thought he was good in all four of these.
Yeah.
I I actually enjoy Jim Carrey's performance in this. To be honest, he's completely over the top and like
You know, something else. This is like the third film of his that I've watched that focuses around a plot that has to do with the TV.
Truman Show
Yep, the cable guy.
and the Cable Guy. Yeah,
And
the
then
Cable
this.
Guy. Yeah, I actually kind of like the Cable Guy, to be honest.
I do too.
It's weird, but I kind of like it.
It's pretty enjoyable.
Although honestly, take Jim Carrey out of that, I probably wouldn't have liked it as much.
Yeah.
He was what made that movie. He doesn't save this movie for me. Like even Jim Carrey
No.
doesn't save this movie for me, even though his costume, like
Oh my.
gosh,
Oh, especially at the end. His costumes are just so wild throughout the whole thing.
yeah. I do like his introduction scene though when you first see him, where he's like, I
Yeah.
actually did feel kind of bad for him,
Yeah.
you know, before he becomes the Riddler.
It's something interesting. It almost seems like the Riddler existed before he became the Riddler.
He's
Just 'cause-
already a bit weird and kooky before he becomes the Riddler. Yeah.
Yeah, plus the costume and stuff, it already exists. Like the bobblehead
Yeah.
that's on his desk,
Yeah.
the machine that he has in his apartment for some reason.
I would say his transition from becoming, Edward Nygma to becoming the Riddler is not very well done. They don't really transition
No.
well, to be honest.
He just gets
He
zapped
just-
from his TV helmet and goes crazy.
He just gets fired and then becomes crazy, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And then there's a.
we'll get to some of the problems with it. There's some like goofy lines in this and scenes that I kind of like. Like there's that scene towards the end where the Riddler and Two-Face are playing Battleship.
I forgot about that part.
to stop the bat boat.
Yeah.
That was really funny, I thought.
You know who's one person in this movie that I remember absolutely nothing about?
Who?
Nicole Kidman's character.
Oh, I remember stuff about her. I remember her being bad in this.
She is so forgettable. I only remember her appearing at the very end, trapped in the cage.
You don't remember the scene where she's hitting on Batman? She, like, turns on the bat signal just so she can, like, meet up with him.
I forgot about that one.
God, that scene just... I cringed at that scene. Her character is completely pointless. Just does not do anything at all.
She felt really shoehorned in.
The Riddler in this, now, I'm not as familiar with this character as I am with some of the other villains, but he felt more like the Mad Hatter, I thought.
Yeah,
especially
kind
in
of.
his, like, plot involving the TV and, like...
Yeah, because the Mad
hypnotizing
Hatter
people.
focuses a lot on, like, hypnotizing people.
Yeah, they don't focus as much on the Riddler riddling.
Yeah.
Which which is disappointing, you know, especially considering, you know, Batman, the first one, they focus a lot on the Joker, you know, and his characteristics and stuff. You know, he's a Joker.
Yeah. And then we have Two-Face in this movie.
Oh, God.
This might be my least favorite version of Two-Face ever.
Yeah. I would say that, yeah. It's especially disappointing because I love Tommy Lee Jones. I think he's
he's a great actor, and I feel like he could have made a great Two-Face.
Everything else I have seen him in, he's really good. Men in Black, The Fugitive, you know.
He was pretty good in the Lincoln movie.
Oh, yeah, he was pretty good in that. But he is awful in this. Like,
it's horrible.
They don't even, like, give much of his backstory either, which is really disappointing because he has one of the most interesting backstories for a Batman villain. And he's so goofy and over the top.
They take out what really makes him Two-Face as well.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing about Two-Face is he flips the coin, and it helps him decide if he's going to be good or evil.
But instead he's just flipping the coin until it becomes what he wants it to be.
Exactly. That scene is so horrible.
His character is horrible in this,
yeah.
I think. I also miss Danny Elfman's score from the first two. I don't hate the music score in this movie, but it's just not...
It's nowhere near as good as the first two score.
I can see why they didn't really, like, use it as much in the...
Yeah.
You know, video games and stuff. Although apparently the soundtrack, like some of the songs were really popular at the time. You had a bunch of famous artists at the time doing songs for the soundtrack, including U2 and Seal.
Yeah.
And even Nick Cave, which is weird.
So, I once again have the VHS tape by me.
Yep.
And there is a review on this that makes me mad.
Mm-hmm.
Pat Collins said it's the best Batman yet.
Nope, definitely not.
I want to know
What's interesting, okay, I have, sitting over here, I have a copy of Leonard Maltin's 2014 movie guide. And he actually, of the four movies, he actually did like Batman Forever the most.
Why?
Let me see.
It's such a bad one.
Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, 3 out of 4 stars. Oh, let's see. I don't know.
The tone of this movie is so bizarre.
He liked the relationship between him and Robin, I guess.
I mean, yeah, I guess that part's okay.
He called it well written, which I don't agree with.
No, not at all.
Okay, just for comparison, he gave the original Batman movie 2.5 out of 4 stars.
Really?
He gave Batman.
What did he give this?
He gave Batman and Robin 2.5 out of 4 stars. He gave Batman Returns 2 stars. That was his least favorite. He gave Batman Begins 3 stars.
Are you kidding me?
You're gonna be shocked when I tell you what he gave The Dark Knight.
Did he give it 1.5 stars?
2.
Wow. Wow.
His favorite Batman movie was Batman Forever. Or Batman Begins. One of those two. I don't know. But he gave Batman Forever 3 out of 4 stars.
I can't believe this man.
He even gave Batman Mask of the Phantasm a lower rating.
That's such a great one, though!
He gave it 2.5 out of 4 stars.
Oh my goodness. This dude is wrong.
God. And I like Larry Malton, but yeah, I definitely don't agree with that. I thought Chris O'Donnell was better in this one than he was in Batman and Robin.
Yeah,
I will say
Batman and Robin, he felt kind of flat.
There are some good scenes between him and Bruce, I think.
Yeah.
Especially, there's this one scene where they're like talking about how they're the same. You know, I thought that was really interesting. What really shocked me though was the scene where Dick's parents are killed.
Yeah.
I did not feel any emotion at all during that. It felt not really flat for me. It was supposed to be this big dramatic scene. It felt like they just... And it just... yeah.
It felt like they just kind of forced it in there to me a little bit. Like they're like, we need his parents to be dead, let's just have the Two-Face kill him real quick.
One thing I will say it improves on from the first two, though, is they give the characters about an even amount of screen time.
Yeah,
because the first two, Batman was sort of an afterthought, especially in Batman Returns. Yeah. Whereas in this one, you get more of the villains and Batman and Bruce. So, my negatives, I have a ton.
Oh my goodness, there's so much wrong with this movie.
The opening is horrible. Horrible. That bank robbery. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Terrible introduction to Two-Face. Just terrible, terrible scene. And there's like... It's like electroshock things or something. I don't know. Like,
yeah. To me, both the Riddler and Two-Face in this movie, they both feel more like they were trying to be the Joker instead of the Riddler or Two-Face.
Yeah, definitely. Another thing about Two-Face, I don't like the makeup.
No, it's not that good.
It's way too purple. Like,
yeah.
I wrote in my notes that he looked like Nixon fell in a bucket of paint. And
why does he wear like a leopard print
that too,
suit?
Yeah, what the heck?
It's so weird.
I know. His character's so one note too. He's like that the whole movie. Like
the whole scene with him in his lair
where he meets the
That
Riddler.
was weird. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And he's got those two like women or something that follow him around everywhere for some reason. I don't know. It's just
I don't even remember what they were called, but it was something weird.
It was You know what, actually, yeah, of the four, this might be my least favorite.
It is most certainly my least favorite.
I'm looking at my notes, and I'm having trouble remembering some of this, actually. I also thought, of the four, this had, the chemistry between, like, Val Kilmer and Nicole Kidman, like, was not there at all.
No.
Like,
it was not.
I don't blame that on the actors, because I've seen both of them in other stuff, and neither of them are bad, if you ask me.
Yeah.
It's just a really bad script, I think. Another thing I noticed
it was atrocious.
Another thing I noticed, and after reading a bit more about the production, I can see why I felt this, but I felt like the transitions between scenes were just not there.
Yeah.
Like, it felt like there were scenes that were missing. I did a bit of research, and actually I found out there are a ton of deleted scenes from this.
Huh.
Because
how long was the movie originally?
I think it was like almost like... I think it was like maybe 2.5 hours originally, but I'm not sure. I'm really not sure.
I really don't think that extra half hour of footage would have saved the film, though.
It was a lot of scenes. There were a lot of scenes that involved Bruce and, like, his, like, parents and stuff. Some really dramatic scenes that they cut out, which I think if you put some of them back in there, it would have improved the movie a bit more. Because there
little bit.
Because there were hints of it with some of the scenes with Val Kilmer, at least. Like, some of it was in there, but it just wasn't expanded upon enough. Another thing I was confused about, maybe this was because I wasn't paying attention at all during the scene, but the scene where Robin's parents died, I wasn't entirely sure how they died.
Yeah.
They did not, I don't know if it was the editing or what, but for some reason it just was not clear to me.
Didn't they just, like, fall from the tightrope or the trapeze?
I couldn't figure out if they were shot by Two-Face or they fell. I don't know.
The whole scene's just a mess.
I don't like the style the movie's filmed in, like, with all the... There is way too much green in this. There's way too much green.
It felt like every scene they needed to have some sort of wildly contrasting color scheme.
Exactly, yeah.
It was...
I mean,
it gave me a little bit of a headache, actually, when I watched it the first time.
It hurt my head, yeah, it did. And it's also... Honestly, what surprised me about this and Batman and Robin is they're kind of boring, too.
Yeah.
I didn't realize there were this many dull spots in the movie.
And it's a long movie. It's like a little bit over 2 hours.
And it was just a case of, like, I didn't find the plot very interesting either.
Yeah.
Like, he's
because there really wasn't a plot to it.
He's trying to, like, suck their IQs out of the TV and, like...
Yeah.
And become smarter. I mean, how does it harm them, or does it, like, I don't... There isn't really much, like, that many stakes in this, like...
Yeah.
Any, like, conflict, like, at least from the villain's plot. I don't really, like... It's probably, honestly... You know what I mean, as bad as Batman and Robin is, I can see how freezing everybody is harmful to the citizens of Gotham more. Whereas,
you know what
they get their, like... Whereas, they're
like... They get their brain cells removed.
They're getting hypnotized by TV. I mean, that already happens, so...
You know what I just realized this plot reminds me of?
What?
A little bit? Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
Oh my god, yeah, it does. Oh my god.
It's the same general premise as Riddler's plot in this.
I didn't even realize that, but you're right. You're right. I don't even like Halloween 3 either, but yeah, it definitely does. It was just...
I felt like this movie was out to harm me as I watched it.
Really?
I felt like it wanted to hurt me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Some other points, I mean, obviously the script is just absurd.
Horrible.
Yeah. The villains are too cartoonish. I could not take the villains in this seriously at all.
It was so bad.
Their plot made no sense. Why does Two-Face team up with the Riddler? He just goes along with it. Two-Face seems more like a henchman than his own villain in this, whereas I would have probably switched it. But I don't know what kind of plot would you have Two-Face doing though? Just like taking revenge or something?
I really don't know. It would have to be something where the coin toss would greatly affect it. Okay. I feel. So it's either going to be he does something horrendously evil.
Maybe he gets like a hold of a bomb or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like at the very end he has to make a choice whether or not to, hit a button that's going to kill all of Gotham or to not. And he flips it the wrong way, and since, he flips it on the good side, he then has to back away from the whole plot.
Yeah. That is so disappointing because you have such a great concept for
it's
a villain.
Such a great... Exactly, and they threw it away.
Yeah. he's this very conflicted, multi-personality, like, character, and yet they don't explore either
They
side.
don't do anything with it.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah.
He's just crazy the whole way through.
Honestly, I think this handles, of the 4 movies, I think this handles the villain worse than the other ones, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Two-Face, just really.
It's a disappointment.
This movie also, for me, went way too far into science fiction, because the plot is ridiculous. Like,
because I mean,
the plot
the
makes
plot
no
to Return, the plot to Returns was a bit out there, but it still
was.
seemed almost like it could be grounded in reality.
You would have to, well, barely, but yeah.
Yeah. More so than this.
Yeah, more than this, yeah, probably. Another thing about this movie is the sets and the buildings do not look like actual buildings.
No, they don't.
This does not look like
it's
a
even
real
more of a
city.
nightmarescape than Tim Burton's were.
Yeah, it's like... And the citizens of Gotham, like, from what I remember, aren't really focused on that much in this.
Not really.
In the first 2, like, you could tell they were there, but in this one, you're just like, okay, I guess these lunatics are just fighting around in this toy city. With,
Yeah, it feels like everyone that lives in Gotham in this movie is part of some weird neon gang.
Yeah. And the climax, my god, the climax is so boring.
It's horrible.
It's so lame. Like, he kills Two-Face by throwing a bunch of coins at him and he falls to his death.
Yeah.
I mean, it is kind of cool that, like, there's, like, spikes below there, I guess, but, like, I don't know, that they could have come up with something better than that. And the Riddler, they just
break him.
Yeah, basically.
That final scene, too, it just feels so bad. When they go see the Riddler in Arkham yelling, "I'm Batman."
Yeah, that too, yeah. This, for me, is probably the most forgettable of the 4 movies.
Yep.
Because, again, I was having trouble remembering some of this, Like, I mean, say what you will about Batman and Robin, it's bad, but it's memorable.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, like... But, let me get to some of this trivia, see what you think of some of this.
Alright.
Kilmer clashed a lot with the director, and Schumacher called Kilmer childish and impossible to work with. Which, this is not the first time Val Kilmer's been called out for that, because, like...
Really?
Yeah, he's apparently very difficult to work with. If you ever get a chance to read up on some of the production history behind the 1996 Island of Dr. Moreau movie, it's like the production of that movie is far more interesting than the finished product. It is ridiculous.
Was it mostly caused by Val Kilmer?
It was caused by a lot of things, including Val Kilmer. The fact that the original director was fired on the first day of shooting.
Oh, that's not good.
And Marlon Brando, who's also notoriously difficult to work with. In fact, one of the actors in that, I think it was David Thewlis, said that he never saw the finished product because he had such a horrible time working on it.
That's really bad.
It's one of the worst, like... I would say... I don't know. I don't know if it's one of the worst movies I've ever seen, but it is really, really bad. It's really bad.
I actually have a bit of trivia that I know about Batman Forever.
I got a lot more to get through, but yeah, you can go ahead if you want.
Jim Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones absolutely hated each other.
They hated each other, actually, yeah.
While filming it, yeah. And Jim Carrey said that every chance he got, he made sure to insult one of Tommy Lee Jones's movies whenever they had to do something together.
Oh, man. some other trivia. Despite a poor working relationship, Joel Schumacher later said he felt Val Kilmer still gave a good performance as Batman/Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
And I agree with him. It was a pretty good performance in sadly, a really bad movie. Tommy Lee Jones did not get along with Jim Carrey, saying he hated him and his movies. They got along so poorly that Schumacher refused to ever work with either of them on another film.
That's bad.
Schumacher later directed Carrey in the film The Number 23, which came out in 2007. But I don't think he's ever worked with Tommy Lee Jones again. Burton did not direct the film, but he did produce it.
Yeah, that's something I noticed. I was looking on the back of the tape, and the very first name that it listed in the credits section said a Tim Burton production.
Yeah. Tim Burton's Batman Forever. The movie was not originally going to have Two-Face in it until Schumacher joined the project.
Really?
I don't know who the original villain was supposed to be, but I might have written it down somewhere. Jones accepted the project because his 11-year-old son said Two-Face was his favorite character.
Oh, that poor son. He just got the worst interpretation of the character.
You know, it's funny because same thing happened with Raul Julia on the Street Fighter movie. Because his kids...
with M. Bison.
His kids wanted him to take the role because it was one of their favorite video games. That was a way better movie, though.
Yeah.
Which isn't saying much, but it's at least more entertaining.
And at least his performance was
pretty
amazing to watch.
That's one of my favorite overacting performances. Jones had previously worked with Schumacher on The Client, which was based on a John Grisham book. I haven't seen that movie.
I don't think I've ever seen that one.
Yeah, I've seen Rainmaker, though. It was no, that wasn't Schumacher, but it was based on a John Grisham book. Val Kilmer, okay. This one, I don't know the validity of this, but if it's true, I'm gonna laugh. Val Kilmer found out he'd gotten the role while he was filming a scene for The Ghost in the Darkness in a bat cave.
If that's true, that would be fantastic.
The reason... I'm not sure if this is true or not, because that movie came out afterwards.
Yeah.
It sounds a bit made up to me, to be honest.
Yeah, it sounds a little too convenient.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a weird movie, Ghost in the Darkness. That's the one where him and Michael Douglas are hunting lions. They're killing people. Leonardo DiCaprio turned down the role of Robin because, like Keaton, he didn't like the direction the series was going.
Yeah, I've heard that one before.
Yeah. He was really young at the time, if I remember right. This was before Titanic.
Oh, wow. So he was really young.
But after Gilbert Grape. Mel Gibson turned down the part of Two-Face due to scheduling conflicts with Braveheart. Probably better because he ended up winning an Oscar for that, so...
Yeah, that was a good choice on his part.
Yeah. Oh, man, this is really funny. Mark Wahlberg was considered for the part of Robin.
No.
This was when he was still part of Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, by the way.
I do not want to see him as Robin. I'm fine with that, with him turning that role down.
Yeah. No, not a Mark Wahlberg fan, I assume.
Nah, not really.
Yeah. I thought he was, he's alright in a few movies, I guess. Joel Schumacher wanted Nicole Kidman to play Poison Ivy, but decided that there would be too many villains.
Yeah. I feel like there's almost too many villains when they have two of them like this.
Yeah.
Because then one of them's going to have to step down and be like more of a henchman to the other one.
Yeah, that's what happened with Two-Face. That's what it seems like, is Two-Face is just kind of an afterthought.
Yeah.
Of all the Batman villains, though, I mean, the Riddler was really the one they wanted, I guess. But
yeah.
Nothing wrong with the character, I guess. But I'm surprised that's the one they came up with. Oh wow, I got a lot more for this.
Ugh. Maybe we should cut the trivia
I
on
think
this one
this is the
shorter then.
one. I think this is the one I wrote down the most trivia for because there was a lot of interesting stuff. Bob Kane said that Val Kilmer gave the best performance as Batman. He died 3 years after this film was released,
Huh.
so he never got to see Christian Bale as Batman.
See, Christian Bale I thought was good, but his Batman voice got a bit silly,
I don't.
in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Other names considered for the part before Val Kilmer included Daniel Day-Lewis, Kurt Russell,
Oh boy.
Alec Baldwin,
No.
Ethan Hawke. Oh God, no. Ralph Fiennes, Tom Hanks, and Johnny Depp.
Tom? Oh, I would have loved Johnny Depp as Batman.
Again, this is before Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Back to see him before Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Oh, that would have been a weird Batman film.
At one point, when Tim Burton was going to direct, he was going to cast Brad Dourif as the Scarecrow.
That would be interesting.
Yeah. I think he would have made a perfect Scarecrow, actually. Joel Schumacher originally wanted to make a much darker and more serious film that would more fully explore Bruce Wayne's growing fear that his crusade to be Batman had done more harm than good, and that Bruce was beginning to suffer from burnout. But the executives at Warner Brothers insisted on a lighter tone. And they did film some scenes that hinted that,
Huh.
if you watch some of the deleted scenes, but unfortunately it was cut out mostly. Unlike Tim Burton, Joel Schumacher was a Batman fan. He originally wanted to do a prequel based on Frank Miller's Batman Year One.
Who was the villain in that one?
I don't remember. I think Catwoman was in it, but I don't know. I'm gonna skip a few of these. What?
This one must be good.
Michael Jackson was attached at one point to play the Riddler, but he was ignored. Matthew Broderick also expressed interest in the role. So this would have been, before The Cable Guy, you would have had another movie with Jim Carrey and Matthew Broderick.
Yeah.
After that, Ron Williams turned down the role of the Riddler. Joel Schumacher cast Jim Carrey because Schumacher and Warner Brothers felt that he was perfect for the part following the success of Ace Ventura: Pet Detective.
Yeah, I felt a little bit of Ace Ventura in this Riddler, I thought.
Or The Mask.
Yeah, more so The Mask, when I think about it.
Yeah, but there were, But yeah, watching it, that is part of what I enjoy about it, is because it is Jim Carrey, in his prime, just
Yeah.
completely goofy. I just wish he was in a better film than this. Before Chris O'Donnell was ultimately cast, Mark Wahlberg, Leonardo DiCaprio, Matt Damon, Jude Law, Ewan McGregor, Corey Haim, Corey Feldman, Toby Stephens, and Scott Sweetman had all been considered for the role of Robin at some point.
Those would have been some weird recastings.
I would have loved Ewan McGregor as Robin.
Yeah, McGregor would have been hilarious as Robin. Corey Feldman would have been a weird choice, I feel.
Toby Stephens, he was the main villain in Die Another Day. So he would have ended up in one of the worst Batman movies and one of the worst James Bond films.
Yeah.
Although, I'd probably rather watch Die Another Day than Batman Forever.
Yeah.
As bad as it is.
I'd rather just never even remember that Batman Forever exists.
Keanu Reeves was considered for the part of Batman.
That would have been an interesting choice.
I don't know how I feel about that, because I'm kind of iffy on Keanu Reeves. Sam Raimi.
I feel like he's a...
Sorry.
Oh, yes, Sam Raimi.
Sam Raimi was at one point considered to direct after Tim Burton dropped out. This was after Army of Darkness now. And Darkman.
I really wish Sam Raimi would have gotten to direct a Batman film.
At least he got to the Spider-Man movies, though.
Yeah. Those are probably some of the best Spider-Man movies,
yeah,
I think.
the first two, anyway.
Yeah.
When Tim Burton was going to direct Mickey Dolenz of the Monkees, and Ron Williams were considered for the role of the Riddler. Moreover, Burton wanted the Riddler's head shaved with a question mark.
Oh, that's terrible.
I'm not done. This gets weirder. The film was to include Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman, who survived the events of Batman Returns. Rene Russo was cast as the love interest. Marlon Wayans was cast as Robin. And the film was going to be called Batman Continues, but Warner Brothers ultimately dismissed Burton after they realized the tone of the film was to be similar to Batman Returns. With Marlon Wayans in there, it would have had a similar tone to Batman Returns? I doubt it.
I don't like that name. Batman Continues.
I don't either, honestly. That doesn't sound right.
It's weird.
Batman Forever isn't a great title, but it at least sounds better than
It's
Continues.
yeah, it's better than Continues.
Val Kilmer filmed his role concurrently with that in Heat. In this film, he plays a protagonist pursuing a team of armed robbers. In the other, he is one of a gang of armed robbers being pursued. Came out the same year, too. Tim Burton, director of the previous two films, would have called this film Batman Continues and had three central villains. Brad Dourif as the Scarecrow, Ron Williams as the Riddler, and Billy D. Williams as Harvey Dent / Two-Face.
I wish that would have been it now, just because I feel like Billy D. Williams would have been better for this role than Tommy Lee Jones ended up being.
Yeah. That's too bad, Billy D. Williams wasn't, included in this. Because I just recently was watching Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, so seeing him in those, and I'm just going, why didn't he get... He would have been perfect. I think it would have been great. He would have been better than Tommy Lee Jones, probably.
Yeah.
If they included, if they had Tim Burton's script, probably.
Yeah.
Script he would have chosen. Tommy Lee Jones later appeared in No Country for Old Men, which also featured a villain who decides whether or not to murder someone by flipping a coin.
Oh yeah. Oh, wasn't he played by Joaquin Phoenix?
Javier Bardem.
Oh.
Who,
what movie am I thinking of?
I don't know.
Huh.
Javier Bardem, he was the main villain in Skyfall.
Skyfall, yeah.
And he was great in both those movies. What if he played Two-Face? I wonder what that would have been like.
Yeah, it would have been a different feeling movie.
Once again, this got a split vote from Siskel and Ebert. Siskel gave it a marginal thumbs up. Roger Ebert gave it a thumbs down, but thought it was better than the previous two movies.
No!
I disagree with both of them on this. Received 3 Oscar nominations for cinematography, sound mixing, and sound editing.
I guess the sound was alright.
Yeah. It did receive a Razzie nomination, but it was for Worst Original Song. For Hold Me, Thrill Me, Kiss Me, Kill Me by U2. Which, even though I like the band U2, I'm not really a fan of that song.
Yeah, neither am I.
I don't really like this song that much. But yeah, let's move on to the next film.
Which was somehow better than Batman Forever.
I don't know if I'd call it, like...
I personally think that this is better than Forever.
I probably enjoyed it more, but I don't know if I'd say it's a better film.
So, on the VHS tape, we have one review on the back.
Yeah.
This man named Michael Medved from the New York Post said that it was consistently dazzling, ingenious, and breathtaking.
Yeah. And I mentioned earlier, Michael Medved, when you said that name, I was like, wait, could you repeat that? Like, when we were recording the other one a few days ago.
Yeah.
Because I actually do know that name, and if I remember right, he was the guy that did the Golden Turkey Awards, which was a book about the worst movies ever made.
Yeah.
Before the Golden Raspberry Awards, there was the Golden Turkey Awards. And I think he's also a conservative radio host or something now.
Yeah. It's a really weird life path that he went down.
That'd be like finding out that Rush Limbaugh like did movie reviews at one point. Batman and Robin.
So this movie,
Oh,
I feel like it suffered from having too many villains.
yeah, I definitely agree with that. Yeah.
Especially when for the longest time, I never knew that Bane was in this movie. I didn't know he was in the movie until I watched it.
It's because he doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
He just
stands around and growls.
and then occasionally, in a very deep voice, repeats like one word of what
Exactly.
somebody told him. Bomb. He's like Boris Karloff as Frankenstein's monster or something. Fire, bad, Batman, dead.
This is by far the worst adaptation of Bane I have ever seen. Like, there is no contest.
Was he in the animated series? I don't remember.
He was, and it was for one episode, and that is also my favorite portrayal of Bane.
Okay. It's been a while since I've seen The Dark Knight Rises, but I mean, it's probably... Tom Hardy has to be better than that.
He is better, but I really don't like his voice in that one. It's too goofy.
He sounds like Sean Connery in Dark Knight Rises. But I don't want to talk about that movie. I'm. We'll get to that when we get to that one.
Schwarzenegger looked like he was having fun for most of this movie,
Oh, yeah,
which is a
definitely.
good thing.
Yeah, he looks like he's having the time of his life making this. And
I also
honestly, he's my favorite part of this movie.
Yeah,
He is so
it's the same for me.
he is so goofy and over the top, yet like, you know. I do kind of like Uma Thurman in this as Poison Ivy.
She was interesting.
Yeah, I kind of liked her like whole character, you know, with the plants and stuff.
Yeah.
And she got some kind of funny bad dialogue, I thought.
I thought at one point Batman just straight up killed her. Like, towards the end, I think she gets, like, pushed into a flower or something and it closes on her. I thought it was eating her, and I thought Batman just killed her.
I love Arnold's performance in this, though. He has so many just... the lines
He's
are
so fantastic.
the lines are so bad, but he sells them.
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age!
Time to break the ice. I think my favorite one, I'm gonna turn Gotham into an icy graveyard.
I thought his costume looked pretty
It's
awesome.
a cool costume, yeah. I like the costume. And his gun that they use is the freeze things.
Yeah.
The ice, though, like, it looks like plastic.
It does. It looks so bad.
The sets in this are just so cheesy.
There's one scene that still confuses me to just the layout of this city, and that's the bike race that happens. Like, I'm just like, where are they? How are they getting onto, like, sky rises and then into sewers in the matter of 20 seconds? It was a disorienting scene, honestly.
Yeah.
I do like how for Mr. Freeze, they kept the background that was made in the animated series.
Yeah.
Because before the animated series, Mr. Freeze was a very just comedic villain. He didn't really have a good backstory. He just went around making ice puns and freezing people.
And they combined the best of both worlds.
Yeah, apparently. Because the animated series is the first time that, you know, the idea that his wife, Nora, had to be frozen, and that's the reason he's doing all this. That's the first time that ever showed up.
There is only one absolute. Everything freezes.
Jesus.
Oh, man. I'll take an over-the-top Arnold Schwarzenegger over the BS of Batman Forever any day.
Yeah.
That being said, though, I have a ton of negatives with this one.
Yeah, it's not a good movie.
I felt that the plot with Alfred dying felt just desperate.
It felt shoehorned in.
It was very
Yeah.
desperate. Like, they were trying to add desperate drama to this movie. in a movie that's... It felt really out of place, especially in a movie this goofy.
Yeah. Also, what was Poison Ivy's plot exactly?
Take over the world with plants. And then
Oh.
Arnold wants to freeze everything, so that's kind of contradictory.
It's incredibly contradictory.
The dialogue in this, I mean... There's a
Oh.
Bat credit card in this, for Pete's sake.
With an expiration date of forever.
Yeah.
How does Batman sign up for a credit card?
Hi, I'm Batman. I want to sign up for a credit card. How does he go through the drive-thru with the Batmobile?
That's a good question. I feel like it'd be very obvious that he was showing up.
That's why that was the funniest line for me in Batman Forever. Just because I'm, like, imagining him going through the drive-thru.
Well, okay, at the beginning of my tape for 1989 Batman, there's a commercial where Alfred's calling Coca-Cola, and he said that Bruce Wayne is out of Coca-Cola, and so he's sending his best man to get it. And then you see Batman taking off in the Batmobile, and Alfred's like, he's arriving in a black car. You won't be able to miss it. So then I just had this scene in my head where it's just Batman's rolling up to the Coca-Cola place and just grabbing cases and throwing it in the Batmobile and then leaving.
I need to look at this commercial.
It ends with the Diet Coke wearing the Bat cape.
Oh, it's Diet Coke?
Yeah.
Okay. I know Pierce Brosnan also did a Diet Coke commercial at one point.
Really?
Before he played James Bond, but he's, like, clearly a parody of James Bond in that commercial. It's really funny. A perfect soft drink for an imperfect world. I will say, of the 4 movies, this has easily the worst Batman. And
Yeah,
Bruce Wayne.
George Clooney was just bad
He was
in this.
Yeah, not one of his better performances. I love him in From Dusk Till Dawn.
I enjoyed him in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Yeah, that's a good movie too.
Imagine if he just acted like that as Bruce Wayne.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I would love that. But yeah, he does not act like Batman. He just acts like George Clooney put on a Batman costume.
Exactly.
Yeah. Hi, Freeze. I'm Batman.
Mr. Freeze's car is insane. I just remembered the design of it. It's so weird.
Why does he have a bunch of crazy homicidal Eskimos working for him?
That's another good question.
I love that one part where they're watching that Christmas program and singing. Sing,
Yeah.
sing! Oh my gosh.
I like how his secret lair is hidden inside an ice cream shop.
Oh, that too, yeah. Yeah, brilliant. I don't understand. The character origins for Poison Ivy and Bane in this make absolutely no sense.
They're so bad.
Bane especially. Like, they just, like, inject him with something and he just becomes...
And he gets big and kills everyone.
And he just becomes a wrestler.
Yeah, he's just mindless throughout the whole film,
He
too.
was played by a wrestler, too.
Really? Who played him?
Jeep Swenson. Who unfortunately died a few months after the movie came out.
It might have been of embarrassment from being in it.
What do you think of Alicia Silverstone as Batgirl?
She didn't really stand out, and she didn't do a whole lot either.
She was really... I thought she was kind of wooden in this, honestly.
Yeah. She just kind of existed in the film and didn't do much beyond
And
that.
her career didn't really go anywhere after this. Because before this, she had that huge hit film Clueless, and then all of a sudden, oh, she's gone.
Yeah.
She was in Batman and Robin. The action scenes in this.
Oh, some of those action scenes were just fantastic.
Do we even call them action scenes, though? That ice hockey scene at the beginning.
Yeah. Did Bane disguise himself as a gorilla in this movie, or was it somebody else?
I think that was Poison Ivy. But I remember watching this because I hadn't seen this in a while. I completely forgot about that. And then I was like, what the heck? Why is there a dancing gorilla in this? Why are they at this party? What is going on? I thought it was a different movie all of a sudden.
Yeah, it doesn't fit with the rest of the movie's tone.
This barely feels like a movie. This feels like a Sunday morning cartoon filmed with live actors. I probably would have enjoyed it more, though, like, because it was bad, but I was expecting it to be kind of enjoyably bad, but there were too many slow parts in this.
Yeah.
It's
another 2-hour movie.
It's way too long.
Yeah.
If it had been maybe an hour and a half,
it would have been better.
Something
interesting about this, it's the second time that a villain got a higher billing than Batman
Oh, yeah,
did.
Arnold Schwarzenegger was top billed.
Yep. And then it was George Clooney.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot this is the movie that had the bat nipples.
Oh, yeah. I thought they had him in Forever, though, too.
I think they did, but you can't see it on the VHS copy of Batman Forever.
The poster for this, I mean, you just look at it. There are too many characters in this.
Yeah.
There are too many characters in this. They're trying to introduce too many characters at the same time, and it's just,
It didn't work.
It's like Spider-Man 3 times 12.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'd probably rather watch Spider-Man 3 than watch Batman and Robin.
I mean, Spider-Man 3 does have some enjoyable moments.
It is, yeah. It's, I don't think it's...
I loved how stupid the dancing scene was in that, by the way.
It's not a great movie, but it's got problems.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, if you've seen it, you basically know what this movie is. I don't think we need to summarize much more of it.
Not really.
Unless you want to hear me say more ice puns, I guess.
Any interesting trivia about this one?
Oh, yeah. Joel Schumacher had several meetings with Warner Brothers trying to convince them to let him make another Batman movie. He wanted to take the film back to its darker roots and make a Batman Year One movie. Schumacher wanted to cast Kurt Russell as a young Commissioner Gordon, and Selena Kyle... That would have been cool. It gets weird, though. Selena Kyle was going to be a young, beautiful African-American woman living in the ghetto.
Huh, that's different.
Warner Brothers decided not to rehire Schumacher, and the Batman film franchise stayed in development limbo for years until Batman Begins. Which was a way better movie.
Yeah. I heard somewhere that there was supposed to be a fifth film in this series that would have had Nicolas Cage play the Scarecrow.
That would have been amazing.
Not only that, but there was supposed to be a scene in it where the Scarecrow uses his fear gas, and all of the villains from the 4 movies were to come back in a hallucination scene.
Oh, I would have loved that.
Imagine that. You would have had a movie that had Jack Nicholson.
Christopher
It would have had Jack Nicholson, Arnold Schwarzenegger,
Christopher Walken,
Danny DeVito,
Michelle
Jim
Pfeiffer,
Carrey, Tommy Lee Jones,
and Uma Thurman. That would have been.
It would have been the most. It would have been the most insane movie to advertise.
Oh yeah.
Because you have to give all of them some sort of billing. You would have pulled everyone in.
Oh man, that sounds like the greatest thing that never happened.
I know.
I wish they'd included that in Batman Begins. After Val Kilmer refused to return for this film, David Duchovny, Mulder from X-Files, was also considered for the role of Bruce Wayne/Batman. Duchovny was later considered for the same role in Batman Begins.
He's good, but I don't think he would really be a Batman. I just can't imagine that.
I could maybe see him as Bruce Wayne, but not.
Yeah.
Batman. Val Kilmer was asked if he wanted to play Batman again, but by his own admission and due to his commitment with The Saint, was not interested. After experiencing difficulties working with Kilmer on Batman Forever, Joel Schumacher was insistent that the actor not return for the fourth film in the franchise. Fortunately, Kilmer wanted to make The Saint instead, so Schumacher was able to recast the role of Batman. That was a terrible movie, too.
Yeah.
The Saint. Gosh. He plays Simon Templar in that, actually.
Huh.
Gosh. If not for the universally negative reaction to the film, 2 sequels were planned.
Oh!
Batman Unchained, a direct sequel, would have George Clooney and Chris O'Donnell reprising their roles, although there were no plans for Alicia Silverstone to return. Scarecrow and Harley Quinn would have been the main villains, with cameos from past villains in the series. Maybe that's what you were talking about.
Yeah, that is what I was talking about.
The film was going to take the film back to its darker roots. The other film was a Robin/Nightwing spin-off, with O'Donnell reprising his role as Dick Grayson/Robin/Nightwing.
Huh.
It is speculated that if films beyond Batman Unchained were to be made, O'Donnell would be Nightwing rather than Robin. Probably,
That could have been an interesting future for the series.
yeah, spin-offs, like what they're doing with Star Wars now.
Yeah.
Besides Ed Harris and Patrick Stewart, Anthony Hopkins was one of Joel Schumacher's other choices for Mr. Freeze,
Oh.
and was also considered for the role of Alfred in Batman Begins. I would love to see any of these 3 gentlemen as Mr. Freeze.
Yeah.
I'm having an old friend for dinner, but let me get something from the fridge, Clarice. The only film of the 4 Burton/Schumacher films not nominated for any Oscars.
Yeah, I can see why.
I wonder why. It did get 11 Razzie nominations.
Ooh.
11. Let me read them off.
That's...
Let me read them off. Worst Picture.
Yes.
Oh, actually, Val Kilmer was nominated for a Razzie the same year for The Saint.
He cannot escape the Razzies.
Yeah. Worst Screen Couple, George Clooney and Chris O'Donnell. Worst Supporting Actor, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Worst Supporting Actress, Alicia Silverstone, and she actually won.
Really?
Yeah. Worst Reckless Disregard for Human Life and Public Property.
I love that award so much.
You want to know what other films were nominated in that category? That was a new category, by the way. They each year they have a special one. Other nominees in that were Con Air, which won. Lost World: Jurassic Park, Turbulence, and Volcano. Let's see. It was also nominated for Worst Remake or Sequel, which lost to Speed 2 Cruise Control. Home Alone 3 was also nominated in that category.
That one should have won.
Worst Director for Joel Schumacher. Worst Screenplay.
None of these awards have really surprised me yet.
And Worst Song for The End is the Beginning is the End by Smashing Pumpkins.
Ooh, that's a name I haven't heard in a while.
Yeah. 11 nominations. And it won 1. For Worst Supporting Actress for Alicia Silverstone. Yeah. There's a few other ones. And it also won Worst Picture at the Stinkers Bad Movie Awards. Some other interesting trivia. Kane Hodder, you know who that is?
Maybe?
You like Friday the 13th, I think you know that.
Oh, yeah, he did Jason.
Yeah, Jason in 7, 8, 9, and 10.
Yeah.
He was Joel Schumacher's original choice for Bane.
That would have been interesting.
I wonder if he still would have had some lines or not.
I don't know, because you never really hear him speak as Jason.
This is the only film of the 4 to get 2 thumbs down from Siskel and Ebert.
It was deserved, finally.
I'm not surprised, honestly. Um, what's also sad, this is apparently the last Batman movie that Bob Kane saw. He died the year after this film was released, 1998.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's unfortunate.
very unfortunate. So, if I was going to rank all four of these, I would say number one, first one, Batman. I think you can agree with that.
Yeah.
Second, Batman Returns. Not
Yes.
as good as the first Batman movie, but an enjoyable sequel. Number three, I actually, you know what? You changed my mind. I actually do prefer Batman and Robin over Batman Forever.
Yep, that would be number 3.
Batman,
And then number 4 is Batman
yeah.
Forever.
Yeah, I would rank
Ugh.
them. Even though I do think Val Kilmer was a way better Batman than George Clooney was.
He was, but it had far too many problems.
Gosh. I would rank those three actors, how they played Batman. I would say Michael Keaton would be number one, then Val Kilmer,
Then Val Kilmer,
George Clooney,
then George Clooney.
Yeah, so we agree on that too.
Yeah.
Still, Leonard Maltin gave this he gave it 2.5 out of 4 stars. And I can't believe of these 4, he thought Batman Forever was the best one.
That's just psychotic.
I'm not sure whether... I don't think he's as familiar with the comics, though.
Oh, yeah.
He's just a film historian, you know.
You know, actually, the reason why my dad hates superhero movies is because of Batman Forever. He saw that, and now he refuses to watch any other superhero movie because of how bad it was.
That's bad. Yeah. Wow. If that was my first superhero movie, I don't know how I would have felt.
I think the next superhero movie he saw was either Guardians of the Galaxy or Ant-Man, and he actually enjoyed those.
Yeah, those are good ones.
Yeah.
I like both the Guardians of the Galaxy movies a lot.
Yeah.
Way better than
Then Batman Forever or Batman and Robin.
Did you see Batman Forever in the theater?
I don't think he saw it in theater. I think he saw it on TV.
Oh god.
He watched it because it had Tommy Lee Jones in it.
Yeah.
He greatly regretted that choice.
That's what's disappointing about that one for me, is you have such a good cast.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just really... There's no excuse for it to be that bad.
Well, that was an interesting look back on some good movies and the...
2 rotten turds.
Yep. Thank you for tuning into this podcast, and next time we will have a look at the Star Wars films. Some of them, at least.
Yeah, I just rewatched the first 6 over the past few days. So I'm probably more ready than he is.
I'll have to get caught up on those. Anyway, thanks for joining, and I guess we will see you next time.
Yeah.